Hi, APUSH students. Welcome to week 3 of AP US History. And this week, our topic is the Progressive Era and the Progressives. Usually, it's characterized as a time between 1880 and the 1920s. And when I think of the Progressive Era, I think of Teddy Roosevelt. He became our most famous president. He actually ushered in the modern presidency after the assassination of William McKinley. He was a president like no other. He was energetic. He thought he could solve every problem. And that was sort of his attitude. Um, Watch the movie trailer if you'd like. I made a fun little video to introduce you to Teddy Roosevelt and the Progressives. Our essential question for this week is, how did the Progressives solve the problems of society? And were the Progressives successful in what they were trying to do? Just a little overview as you do your reading for the week and the activities associated with it. Really, the Progressive Era was a time of intense social and political reform aimed at making progress towards a better society. This is a direct reaction against the social Darwinist movement that said, oh, people are poor because they don't work hard enough. The progressives said, no, if we make some changes to society, we can make people's lives better. And they wanted to do that through government. They wanted to harness the government to eliminate unethical and unfair practices, reduce corruption, and really counteract the negative impacts of industrialization. We'll see our 16th, 17th Amendments, direct election of senators with the 17th. The 16th Amendment is an income tax because you need money if you're going to grow your government and have government solve more problems. If you know the 18th Amendment, that's prohibition, so that's also going to be passed during this time period. Okay. Some just assumptions that most progressives made that the human condition could be improved. We could make people's lives better. Progressives wanted to improve life through enlightened application. I like that word, enlightened, regulations, incentives, and punishments. And like I said before, and this is really the significant piece of it, they wanted to see the government play a larger role in the lives of both the rich and the poor. So for the rich, that would be putting regulations in place to break up monopolies and trusts. And for the poor, it was helping bring wages and workplace reforms into being. Finally, I couldn't do an overview of the progressives without talking about the muckrakers. The muckrakers weren't part of government, but they were really journalists, and they were muckrakers. Teddy Roosevelt coined that term, but they were like had a rake and they were looking for dirt of society and wanted society to know what that dirt was. Some of our famous muckrakers of the time, Upton Sinclair with The Jungle. I'm sure many of you have read excerpts of that book in English classes. I know there's an excerpt in your module about some of the horrors in the meatpacking industry. The other famous muckraker is Ida Tarbell. Her dad was run out of business by Standard Oil and J.D. Rockefeller, and she wrote a book and an exclusive for McClure magazine talking about those practices. To just briefly touch on, we have a progressive in Wisconsin that La Follette High School is named for. At the university, there's the La Follette School of Public Policy that is named for him, and that's Robert La Follette. He was active in Wisconsin politics in the late 1800s and early 1900s. He was a governor of Wisconsin, and he was a senator in Congress. His name was Fighting Bob for all the progressive actions he took. And just one other side note about Fighting Bob La Follette, he was married to Belle Case La Follette, a progressive reformer in her own right. And she's the reason Wisconsin was the first to pass the constitutional referendum on giving women the right to vote. Go Belle! Thank you. That's the